Hey guys, thank you for watching the Slat Rock channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every time we post a new video. And if you've already done so, just make sure that it's still active. Here's your news for July 2nd. This week marked the first Raw of the Paul Heyman era, and it was clear to everyone watching that a change had been made to WWE's flagship show. In the opener, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley battled in a Falls Count Anywhere match, which saw the pair wrestle all over the arena, eventually making their way to the top of the stage. There, the Monster Among Men showed his dominance by spearing Lashley through the stage wall, causing pyro to go off and some not-so-PG language by commentator Corey Graves. Saying holy you-know-what, Graves' profanity wasn't bleeped, as that S-word can be said on cable TV. But the company's PG rating has meant that word has been banned for several years. A still camera was positioned on the side of the entrance, a much more different approach to how Kevin Dunn would have filmed the spectacle, helping to give the mayhem a more gritty, real look. Returning from commercials, a somber Michael Cole talked as if this huge collision through the stage wasn't part of the show, as it was clear that Heyman's fingerprints were all over this. Rightly so. The crowd could be heard chanting, "Thank you, Heyman," clearly grateful for the ECW magnate who helped put together an epic Raw after months of mediocre shows. As reported by the Raw broadcast team, Lashley is set to undergo further treatment, while Strowman may be dealing with a ruptured spleen, though we don't think this will hold the Monster Among Men down for long. According to WrestleVotes, WWE is in the process of designing and introducing a new stage. The account speculated that Raw's opening match may be a way to debut the new look. Also on Raw, the WWE Universe got another appearance from The Undertaker, who returned to the ring last week at the aid of Roman Reigns. Though Reigns is just one of two men to topple the dead man at WrestleMania, the pair will team up to take on Shane McMahon and Drew McIntyre at Extreme Rules, and this week, the Phenom made it clear where his allegiance lies. In a promo, The Undertaker brought up his WrestleMania 32 match against Shane McMahon, and were impressed WWE would bring up a match from 2016, given that nowadays, a match from 2 weeks ago is practically ancient history. Things weren't all roses on the Red brand last night though, as the company delivered a clunker of a segment backstage featuring Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. A promo everyone will be hoping to forget as soon as possible, the pair of champions were interrupted by Mike and Maria Kanellis from 205 Live, who challenged Raw's resident power couple to a match. Calling her own husband "my bitch," Maria probably shouldn't have goaded Mike, as the pair fell quickly to the Universal and Raw Women's Champion, and that word was repeated on commentary, again uncensored, by Corey Graves. Post-match, Maria showed her frustrations after losing her first match on Raw in nearly a decade, and after claiming she was pregnant during the contest, told her husband that she'll get Becky Lynch to impregnate her next time. Implying a lot of things and none of them PG, this seems to be another move by Heyman, as this week's show was definitely a step in the right direction. The main takeaway of Raw, though, is that AJ Styles has once again returned to his villainous roots after coming up short against new US champion Ricochet. The match had more than the title on the line, as Carl Anderson put his, quote, hot Asian wife on the line as a bet if Styles failed to beat the High Flyer, something rarely seen in WWE in recent years. To close out the show, WWE did a legit dusty finish, as Styles won the match and the title, but Ricochet's foot was under the ropes. Going to commercial break as a second referee tried to explain the situation, the match was restarted and Ricochet was able to pick up a huge win over the former WWE champion, retaining the title and avenging his loss from last week. Named after the legendary Dusty Rhodes, this is an old-school tactic that fans haven't seen in WWE in a while, though it's what happened after the bell that has fans talking. Turning heel, Styles attacked the High Flyer, delivering plenty of punishment before hitting a top rope Styles clash with the assistance of Gallows and Anderson. The show ended with Gallows telling fans, "We're back," as they did the too sweet gesture in the middle of the ring over a beaten Ricochet, a fitting end to what was an excellent Raw. We're not sure how much of this week's show was Heyman's doing, but things certainly seem to click this week in Dallas, Texas, as fans are excited to see what comes next week on Raw, something that hasn't happened in a while. Though Raw was a great show this week, the show did feature a huge botch, as during the opening of the show, the NXT Tag Team Champions, the Street Profits, were shown on screen. While that might not necessarily be a botch, what came afterwards certainly was, as an Instagram post showed that someone in WWE has AEW on their mind. Though the caption was quickly corrected, fans were even quicker, saving the caption and sharing it around while joking that this confirmed that the NXT Tag Champs were heading to the new promotion. Though we're not sure how this blunder occurred, AEW Executive VP Nick Jackson has his own theory, saying on Twitter that it must have been autocorrect. It would sure take a lot of AEW typing to change the word R to the name of the new promotion, though if this is the case, it shows that the company is aware that there is competition in town. We don't know who sent out the AEW caption, though expect them to be extra careful with everything they type from now on. Back to Raw now, and this week's show wasn't just good news for the fans, but also for 205 Live General Manager Drake Maverick. Maverick, who lost the 24/7 title to R-Truth at his own wedding, brought his new wife Renee Michelle with him to Raw this week, telling his bride that they were going on their honeymoon. After being left at her own wedding so that the British superstar could chase Truth, Michelle was rightly ticked off with being duped by her husband, and the pair were taunted by the rapping superstar during the show. However, it would be Maverick who would have the last laugh, as when Renee went to get freshened up, the former rockstar Spud was able to level Truth with a suitcase to win the title for the second time. Quickly escaping with Renee, who at this point is a candidate for Wife of the Year, the newly wedded couple will finally get to go on their honeymoon, though the title will still be on the line 24/7. Will Maverick be able to hold on to the gold during his honeymoon, or will a challenger, whether it be Truth or a new superstar or maybe even Renee herself, take the gold from him? Whatever happens, it seems all is fair in love and championship glory. Guys, the feeling on Twitter from people experienced working with Heyman like Taz, Lance Storm, and Mick Foley was that Paul's fingerprints were already on the show. And some news on Sasha Banks. Fans may not have seen Sasha Banks since her women's tag team title loss with Bayley at WrestleMania 35, but the boss remains one of the most discussed superstars today. A previous report by Brad Shepard said that WWE offered the former Raw Women's Champion a 7-figure deal, though this may not be as much as many fans thought. Though many fans thought that this was 7 figures per year, Shepard has since clarified the rumors, saying, "And to clarify, that isn't 7 figures per year, it's a 7-figure deal in total. Though it's less than first thought, that is still a huge contract offer by WWE, and if the boss doesn't agree to rejoin WWE, it won't be due to lack of trying by the company." With that said, money may not be the deciding factor for Banks, as there have been plenty of superstars who have walked away from lucrative contracts to work for less elsewhere, where they have better honed their craft. Whether Banks will remain with WWE will continue to be a mystery, but we're sure fans will be speculating on what the future holds for one of WWE's 4 horsewomen for weeks and months to come. And finally today, we end on some sad news as we report that WCW wrestler Max Muscle died last Thursday at the age of 56. Muscle started his journey in wrestling in the early 90s and signed with World Championship Wrestling in 1993 after a career as a bodybuilder. Longtime fans will remember Muscle for starting in WCW as Big Bad John, but became best known as the bodyguard for one of the promotion's most iconic stars, Diamond Dallas Page. Helping Page in everything from arm wrestling to actual wrestling, the pair would split in 1996, and after briefly turning face, Muscle would turn heel once again as a member of the Dungeon of Doom. Now known as just Max, he would spend the majority of his WCW tenure on the company's Saturday Night Show, and would be used slightly above enhancement talent on Monday Nitro. Leaving in 1997, Muscle would spend a 2-year hiatus from wrestling before returning to the Squared Circle in 1999. After several years on the independent scene working with promotions like Maryland Championship Wrestling, Muscle had his final match in January 2000 for Extreme Pro Wrestling, and officially announced his retirement in 2003. Though the cause of death is currently unknown, we here at SlatRock would like to send our deepest condolences and very best wishes to Max's family, friends, and fans at this terrible time. Well guys, that's our news for today. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to check out our previous video, Real Reasons Why Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff Will Succeed in 2019 Given Their Track Record. Also check out our other high-rated videos by clicking at the upper right-hand corner or down in the description field. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and the bell icon so you don't miss a single new video. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and as always, thank you for watching.